Hello, I'm Amelia Lummis. I'm a singer-songwriter. I've written about 115 songs and I'm currently studying songwriting and performance at university. And I have had an unmotivated week. It is something that I find that just happens after I've had like a productive spell, which I have just been in. But even though I'm used to it and I know that it's something that just happens, I still hate it. I don't like not being able to write. I don't like not feeling the energy of creativity. And because I can't always allow myself to take a break and not write, sometimes I have to, or just kind of want to force myself to get over the hump and have to force a song out. Now, most of the time when I force myself to write without any sort of a plan, it's just horrible. I don't have a nice time writing, I don't enjoy it, nothing flows, I feel blocked and it just doesn't really work for me. And I like enjoying writing, so while I can force it, I just don't like it, and most of the time that ends with me not liking whatever I've written. So, why am I doing it now? I don't really know. I guess it is a little frustrating when I sit down and try and write a song and can barely even get a line out, and I like getting out of that mentality as soon as I can, and I do like the satisfaction that comes with finishing a song. So sometimes I do like to set myself little targets, like how I wanted to write a new song that I could talk about for this video. And I'll be honest, my first attempt at that was a bit of a failure. I gave myself a kind of word and lyric based challenge, and while I have a few line ideas, I really just struggled. I mean, I haven't given up on it yet and am planning on coming back to it and finishing it and working it out more eventually, but it wasn't going to happen for this video. Either way though, as an attempt at what I'll get back to in a second, lyric first writing, it isn't the worst thing ever, and I don't hate it completely, but it isn't finished. Just like a lot of the other songs and bits of songs that come when I'm not really feeling it. So after that depressing failure, and with the ticking clock of needing to have a song written for now, I was getting a bit stressed. It does help that it's my university reading week, so I don't have to go in, but I have also been moving and packing up everything and unpacking everything. That's taken about all of the time that I have when I'm not doing uni work. So I was really close to giving up and just scrapping the plan completely and thinking about old songs that I could talk about or doing something else entirely for this video. Until a couple nights ago, as I was about to start getting ready for bed, I had an idea. Could I write a song using every letter of the alphabet? Now, this isn't the first time I've used letters to help me write. Back in 2022, I wrote a song called LMNtary, like LMN, but elementary.
It's LMNtary, why we're no longer you.
But that song used the letters as letters. A for this, B's for that, C's for, you get the idea.
A's for all the problems that we'd never admit, and B's for believing.
And it was more or less kind of a letter, a line. And that wasn't really what I wanted this time. I didn't really need that kind of a challenge. I just wanted a stepping stone that I could build a song around. As long as I used a word beginning with every letter of the alphabet in order, it was fine. So, lying in bed, I wrote out some words. Unfortunately, I'm not one to do things halfway. So I did a first big paragraph that was A to Z, then I did a second big section that was Z to A, and then I did a third bit with no words in between that was A to Z again. It took maybe an hour from that first thought, but it was something, and I had a structure to write words around. It took maybe an hour from that first thought because I had the structure to build it around, but then I went to bed and didn't think about anything other than words until the morning. And while it was nice to have that kind of structure to mold songs around, they can sometimes be too restrictive. And while it did work eventually, this time in producing a complete song, I think this might have been one of those too restrictive times. The beginning of the alphabet was fine, but by the time I got to the X's and Z's, I was really forced down a path with only a couple words to choose from. And that is potentially why I had such a hard time coming back to it the following day to try and put a melody and music behind it. I hardly ever write lyrics without melodies. The occasional line, yeah, and it's actually how I come up with a lot of my songs, getting a spark of inspiration from a few words that I think sound quite nice together, or a phrase that I think is really interesting or clever or cool. But even full sections of songs is rare. I think I can think of maybe one single chorus that I've done just writing it out as words, and that one's quite wordy and not as melodical as some of the others I've written. Because it's really difficult for me to come back and make the words sit right, or to get the flow and placement of syllables and rhymes, and even just where the ending and beginnings of sentences are in a way that feels natural. But I wrote these words with a different task. It was getting the alphabet in. I was lying in bed typing on my phone, not singing or humming or thinking about how it would actually work as a song. I was just writing words. And that meant that the next morning when I was trying to give it a melody, a structure, music, all of the things that it was missing, it was really, really difficult, and it didn't feel like it was working. But I have done it. I changed some of the words to make it fit better because some of the sentences didn't flow well, and I gave some bits a bit more of a rhythmic feel or rhymes because I didn't have any plan for where the sentences and phrases went. And I realised as I was doing that the reason I'd been struggling writing songs the past week or whatever wasn't because I couldn't write words. The words came naturally, and giving myself a challenge to write words was just feeding that inspiration that way. What I was actually struggling with was the musical side. Trying to get chords that sounded right and sequences and putting melodies on top of it was what was clunky and what stopped me, and it wasn't ever about the lyrics. So doing this challenge as a way to help me get lyrics didn't actually help the problem, which I only kind of figured out when I had the lyrics there and just needed to put the music behind them. So maybe next time I'll realise I need to do a challenge about what chords I'm using, or something more about the melody or the music behind it, because that's what I've been struggling with. Then the lyrics, while this song was different because I had the challenge behind it, the lyrics were still coming. It was the other side. I did eventually manage to come up with a melody for bits of it, and I did eventually come up with a chord sequence. Do I think it's the best melody I've ever written? Definitely no. But I did eventually get somewhere, and I got the complete song, which I can be happy with. To be perfectly honest, as I was writing it, I didn't really love it, which is probably a lot to do with how forced it was overall. But because of how it's been written, I think that there are some general faults with it too. It doesn't really have a solid structure or flow. Is it a long verse? Is it a verse and a pre-chorus that changes chords but not really? Why is the second verse and pre-chorus completely different to the first? Well, it was because I wrote the words without any thought of it. The verse maybe doesn't feel versey enough, the chorus not chorusy enough, and the bridge is just kind of there. But that came from the pressure that I had within myself to write the song. So I only have myself to blame. And even though I started with them, the lyrics also aren't my favourite because they don't really tell a full story. It was hard to let them have a proper meaning behind every single word and every single line like in my other songs. I don't think I've ever had a song that uses the word X-ray or xylophone before. And those are quite limiting for what I can say without it sounding like I've just chucked words that begin with X in. But ignoring all those bits, the song has started to grow on me slightly, and I got what I wanted, a start to finish, complete song. And I have had stuff to say about it. It's also probably a pretty good reminder to myself that while I might be able to force out songs, I probably shouldn't always, and that the challenges I make for myself should be fun, maybe a little bit less restrictive, and also targeted at what I actually need help with. But I suppose it is a good skill to have and to work on, and it did help me write a song, so I don't really mind. And without further ado, this is the song.
Well, that ends well, but not like this, 'cause I know you don't deserve it. Even if I face the consequences, it won't get through. Heaven knows I just kicked myself down and left me raw. Not overlooking the problems I caused. Quite the commotion. I up through the ocean and ran to the shore. I thundered a tantrum, used all my cards up and waited for more. Violence is never the answer, but what if I'm just too loud? X-ray vision is turning me blind. Oh, I wish you would zip my mouth. I've used all the letters, but I can't find the right way to say what's on my mind. I regret nothing I said. Zoned out, you're trying to reach me, but like as I was born with the screws undone, you're in pieces and voices, it seems. Unfortunately, you were too late, such a shame. You really have no one else to blame. Oh, quit while you can, pretend I'm miles away on the other side of the fence. Not still here, not making sense. I'm floating around in a haze, leaving things out, keep it all to myself just to throw it back in your face. I hate what I'm doing, but I'm getting too good at it, finding new ways to end up here again. Don't come back, I'm already beating myself up in my head. I've used all the letters, but I can't find the right way to say what's on my mind. I regret nothing I said. Maybe in time you'll forget just how I lied. So I regret the things I said. Regret nothing I said. I regret everything I said. Regret. I don't ever forget us, hold it in, just keep lying, everything I pass quietly. Bright stars spread, things I said, even if regret is all I ever should have said. You did what I said, you lived while I said. You flipped back again, then you did all the as I can. I've used all the letters, but I can't find the right way to say what's on my mind. I regret everything I said. But maybe in time you'll forget just how I lied. So I regret nothing I said. I regret nothing I said. I regret everything I said. I regret the
thank you so much for watching and listening. I really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. It's free and it literally only takes a second to do. I hope that you've enjoyed this and that it's been interesting, and I will see you in the next one.